Hey Reddit, I'm Alex, 20M, and my brain feels like it's about to explode. I don't even know where to start, so I'll just say it. 2 weeks ago, my mom kicked me out because I refused to give her my entire paycheck. Now she won't stop calling. But there's a lot more to this, and I need to get it all out. I guess the best place to start is my childhood, or whatever you want to call the mess I grew up in. My mom and my biological dad split when I was 4. He wasn't a great guy, always in and out of jail, never paid child support, and barely remembered I existed. But honestly, I'd take him over what came next. Mom married my stepdad when I was 8, and with him came his 2 kids, Liam and Ava. At the time, they were 5 and 3. Mom kept saying we were going to be this perfect blended family, but in reality, that just meant I became the unpaid babysitter. I was expected to watch them, feed them, play with them, and keep them out of trouble while my mom and stepdad lived their lives. At first, I did it because I thought that's just what older brothers did. Then I did it because I had no choice. If I complained, "You're the oldest, Alex. It's your responsibility." If I said I had homework, "Do it later, the kids need you." If I wanted to go out, "You can't just abandon your family." It got even worse when I turned 16. Stepdad lost his job, and suddenly, the house felt 10 times heavier. Money was tight, stress was high, and my role as the third parent became permanent. I had to pick up Liam and Ava from school, help them with homework, cook dinner, and make sure they didn't kill each other, all while juggling my own schoolwork and a part-time job. I was exhausted all the time. And Mom? She just kept piling on more. I don't know when exactly I started counting down the days until I could leave, but when I finally turned 18, I felt like I could breathe for the first time. I got a full-time job, saved every penny, and started planning my escape. I should have known Mom wouldn't make it easy. 2 weeks ago, she sat me down at the kitchen table. Liam and Ava weren't home, and I should have known something was up from the way she was acting, calm, almost rehearsed. Then she hit me with it. "Alex, you're an adult now. It's time for you to contribute to the family. I need your paycheck." I laughed. Not even on purpose. It just came out because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. She sat there, arms crossed, waiting. When I realized she was dead serious, I asked, "Wait, you mean some of my paycheck, right? Like rent or groceries?" Nope. She wanted all of it. Every cent. And when I told her no, she lost it, screaming about how I was ungrateful, how she raised me, how I owed her for all the years she put a roof over my head. And then, the final blow. "Fine, then pack your bags and get out." I thought she was bluffing. I really did. But she wasn't. So I packed my bags. She watched the whole time, arms still crossed, lips pressed together like she was daring me to call her bluff. I think some part of her thought I'd break down, apologize, and hand over my paycheck. I didn't. I left that night. No goodbyes. No second thoughts. The first few nights were rough. I crashed on my coworker's couch, trying to figure out my next move. Eventually, I managed to get a cheap room to rent. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. No screaming, no responsibilities, no guilt trips. And then the calls started. First, it was just a few. Then dozens. Then hundreds. Mom, stepdad, even Liam and Ava. The messages were a mix of guilt-tripping and straight-up rage. "How could you do this to your family? We're struggling, and you just ran away like a selfish brat. Liam and Ava miss you. You think you're so independent, but you'll come crawling back." I ignored them. What else was I supposed to do? Then came the threats. Mom started telling people I abandoned her, that I was stealing from the family by refusing to pay my share. A few relatives, ones I barely even knew, started messaging me, saying I was being an awful son. It got to the point where I had to block her number. But then she showed up at my job. Yeah, in the middle of my shift. I work at a restaurant, and I was bussing tables when I heard someone say my name. I turned around, and there she was, standing at the entrance like a storm cloud about to burst. My stomach dropped. She marched up to me, ignoring my manager trying to stop her. She grabbed my wrist and hissed, "We need to talk." I pulled away, but she wasn't leaving. She started yelling about how I was embarrassing her, how she couldn't believe I would do this to my family. Customers were staring. My manager had to physically escort her outside. She didn't stop there. She started calling my job nonstop, pretending to be a customer, demanding to speak to me. Eventually, My manager had to tell her that if she kept it up, they'd get a restraining order. That finally made her back off. For now. But I know this isn't over. I know she's not done. And the worst part? Some tiny, messed up part of me feels guilty. I know I shouldn't. I know she's manipulative. I know she only wants me back, so she can use me again. But then I think about Liam and Ava. They didn't ask for any of this. They're still stuck in that house. And I just left them. I don't know what to do. It's been a week since my mom showed up at my job. I thought that after my manager threatened her with a restraining order, she'd finally back off. Maybe take the hint that I was done with her and all the bullshit. I was wrong. At first, things went quiet. Too quiet. No calls, no messages, nothing. For a brief, blissful moment, I thought she'd finally given up. But then Liam messaged me. Liam, dude, I don't know what you did, but Mom is losing her mind. Me, what do you mean? Liam, she's crying all the time, keeps talking about how you abandoned us. She won't even get out of bed. Ava is freaking out. Me, she kicked me out, Liam. I didn't abandon anyone. Liam, yeah, but you know how she is. She's making it sound like you just up and left for no reason. She keeps saying she sacrificed everything for you. And just like that, the guilt hit me like a truck. I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling that familiar weight settle in my chest. I knew exactly what was happening. This was just another manipulation tactic. She did it all the time when we were kids. Anytime she wanted something, she'd make herself the victim until we felt so bad. We gave in. But this was different. This time, I wasn't there to see it. I wasn't there to get sucked into the cycle. So I didn't respond. That should have been the end of it. But then Ava started messaging me, too. Ava, please come home. Mom won't stop crying. Ava, she says she doesn't want to live anymore. Ava, I'm scared. That one broke me. Because yeah, my mom was manipulative. But would she really go that far? Would she actually hurt herself just to make a point? I didn't know, and that scared the hell out of me. I told myself I wasn't going back, that I couldn't go back. But the image of Ava, 16 years old, alone in that house with a mother who was spiraling, was burned into my brain. I couldn't ignore it. So like an idiot, I went back. When I got to the house, it was worse than I expected. The place was a mess, dishes piled in the sink, laundry everywhere, the trash overflowing. It smelled stale, like no one had opened a window in days. Ava was sitting on the couch, knees pulled to her chest. When she saw me, her eyes went wide. Alex, she jumped up and hugged me so hard it knocked the air out of my lungs. Liam was in the kitchen, making a sandwich like nothing was happening. He glanced up, gave me a nod, and went back to what he was doing. Where's Mom? I asked. Ava motioned toward her bedroom. She won't come out. I hesitated. Every instinct in my body was telling me this was a bad idea, that this was a trap, but I had to know. So I knocked on her door. Silence. I knocked again. Mom. More silence. Then, finally, a weak, muffled voice. Go away. I sighed. Mom, I just want to talk. Nothing. I turned to Ava, who was watching me with wide, hopeful eyes like I was some kind of savior coming to fix everything. I hated that look. I hated that I was the one she was relying on when it should have been Mom. So I did what I always did. I stepped up. I opened the door. The room was dark, the curtains drawn. Mom was curled up in bed, facing the wall. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of unwashed sheets and stale perfume. She looked small. For the first time in my life, she actually looked weak. And despite everything, despite knowing exactly what she was doing, I felt that damn guilt creeping again. Mom, I said softer this time. What's going on? She didn't answer. I sat on the edge of the bed. Ava's scared. Liam is pretending he doesn't care, but he does. You're scaring them. She let out a shaky breath. I never wanted this, Alex. Wanted what? For my own son to abandon me. There it was. I clenched my jaw. I didn't abandon you. You kicked me out. She flinched, but recovered quickly. I was trying to teach you responsibility. I almost laughed. Responsibility? You mean like raising 2 kids that were mine? Giving you my entire paycheck? That kind of responsibility. Her expression twisted. You're so ungrateful. And there it was. The switch. The moment the sad, broken woman disappeared and the angry, manipulative mother took her place. I gave you everything, she spat. I sacrificed my entire life for you. No, I said, standing up. You sacrificed me for you. She stared at me, stunned into silence. For the first time, I think she realized I wasn't falling for it anymore. I turned to leave, but then she said something that stopped me cold. If you walk out that door, don't ever come back. I froze. Not because I was scared, not because I was second-guessing myself, but because I realized that was exactly what I needed to hear. I took a deep breath, looked back at Ava, who was still watching from the hallway, her eyes filled with something between fear and hope. Then I stepped out. I didn't say another word. I just left. It's been 3 days. She hasn't called. Ava hasn't messaged me. And for the first time in my life, I feel free. I should be happy. I should feel relieved. But all I can think about is Ava and Liam. They're still stuck there, and I don't know how to save them. It's been a week. No calls. No messages. Nothing. At first, I thought maybe, just maybe, she finally let me go, that I was really free. But deep down, I knew better. With my mom, silence was never a good thing. And I was right, because yesterday, I got a call from Ava. It was late, almost midnight, when my phone buzzed. I was lying in bed, scrolling mindlessly, trying to pretend I wasn't waiting for this exact thing to happen. Ava, Alex, please pick up. My stomach twisted. I hesitated for a second, just a second before answering. Ava, what's wrong? She was crying. No, sobbing. It's Mom, she's... Her voice cracked. I sat up so fast I nearly dropped my phone. Ava, slow down. What happened? She took a shaky breath. She called the cops on you. My blood ran cold. What? She told them you stole from her. For a second, I actually thought I misheard her. Like there was no way she'd do something that insane, right? Right? Ava, what the hell are you talking about? She sniffled. I don't know. She's been acting weird all week, super quiet, barely leaving her room. Then tonight, she came out all calm. Too calm. She looked at me and Liam and said, I've had enough. If Alex won't come back, I'll make him. My stomach twisted. And then what? I asked, already dreading the answer. She called the cops. Told them you stole money from her before you left. That you took everything and ran. Alex, she sounded so believable. I rubbed a hand down my face. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. Did they actually? Yes, Ava whispered. They came to the house. Asked a bunch of questions. I think she wanted them to arrest you, but they said they needed proof first. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Okay, that was something. Ava, listen to me. Did she have any proof? Bank statements, security footage, anything? No, but Alex, she's not letting this go. She told them she's pressing charges. My hands clenched into fists. This was insane, even for her. I didn't take a damn thing from her. I know, Ava said quickly, but that doesn't matter. You know how she is. She can lie her way out of anything. And that's what scared me the most. I'd spent my entire life watching her twist reality, rewriting the past, until even I started doubting myself. If she could do that to me, what could she do to a bunch of cops? I swallowed hard. Okay, I'll handle it. Just stay out of it, okay? Don't let her know you told me. Ava hesitated. Alex, promise me, Ava. A long pause. Then, finally, okay. I hung up, and then I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I called a lawyer. I met with him the next morning. He was this older guy, mid-50s, with the kind of face that had seen things. He listened to me, nodding along, then leaned back in his chair with a sigh. This is messy, he said. Your mom doesn't have any real evidence, but that doesn't mean she can't make your life hell. What do I do? I asked. For now, nothing. But if the cops contact you, don't talk to them without me there. I nodded, my jaw tight. And Alex, he added, be careful. Women like your mother, when they don't get what they want, they get dangerous. I didn't sleep that night. 2 days later, I found out just how right he was. I was walking home from work when I saw her. She was parked outside my building, sitting in her car like some horror movie villain. The second she spotted me, she got out. Alex, she called, all fake warmth and forced concern. I just want to talk. I turned around and walked the other way. She followed. Alex, don't be like this. Her voice wavered, as if she were hurt by my reaction. I just want to fix things. I kept walking. Her footsteps quickened. Alex, stop. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I spun around so fast, she actually flinched. I'm making this harder? I hissed. You called the cops on me, Mom. She gasped, clutching her chest like I just stabbed her. I had to. You stole from me. No, I didn't. Her face twisted. I gave you everything. And this is how you repay me? And there it was. The same script. The same bullshit. I exhaled sharply. I'm done, Mom. I mean it. I don't owe you anything. Her expression darkened. Oh, honey, you owe me more than you could ever repay. Something about the way she said it sent a chill down my spine. I took a step back. Stay away from me. For a moment, she just stared at me. Then, slowly, she smiled. We'll see. She turned, got back in her car, and drove away. And for the first time since this nightmare started, I felt something I hadn't before. Fear. Because I finally understood. She wasn't just trying to get me back. She was trying to ruin me. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, her twisted smile, her eyes filled with something dark and unreadable. We'll see. Those words played on repeat in my head. I had no idea what she was planning, but I knew one thing for sure. She wasn't done with me. Not even close. The next morning, I woke up to chaos. My phone was blowing up. Missed calls, texts, voicemails, all from numbers I didn't recognize. My stomach twisted as I unlocked my phone and started reading. Unknown number. Wow. Dude, stealing from your own mother? That's low. Unknown number. You're a piece of shit. Hope you rot in jail. Unknown number. How could you do that to your family? Hundreds of messages. My heart pounded as I scrolled through them, my hands shaking. What the hell was going on? Then I saw it. A Facebook post. From my mom. It was long, dramatic, full of pure fiction. She wrote about how I'd betrayed her, how I'd stolen thousands of dollars before running off like a selfish, entitled brat. She made herself sound like this poor, struggling single mother who had given everything for her son, only for him to turn around and destroy her life. And worst of all, people believed her. The comments section was flooded with sympathy. I'm so sorry, hon. No mother deserves this. What a horrible son. You're better off without him. Cut him out of your life. He's toxic. My own family members were commenting. People I hadn't spoken to in years were calling me a thief. I felt like I was going to be sick. Then I got a message from Liam. Liam, dude, you need to see this. He sent a screenshot. It was another post. This one was worse. It wasn't just words. It was a picture of me. A photo from years ago when I was 16, holding a wad of cash. It was my paycheck from my first job. I remember taking the picture because I was proud of it. But the caption? Proof my son stole from me. I nearly dropped my phone. This was bad. Really bad. I grabbed my jacket and ran out the door. I went straight to my lawyer. He took one look at the posts and let out a long, slow whistle. Jesus Christ. Can she do this? I asked, my voice shaking. Legally? It's defamation. You could sue her. And the cops. He hesitated. Like I said before, she doesn't have real proof. But social media is powerful. If enough people believe her, she might be able to convince the right person to take action. My stomach twisted. What do I do? He leaned back in his chair. You've got two choices. 1, you ignore it and hope it blows over. 2, you fight back. Ow! Publicly. The thought made my skin crawl. I didn't want to air my life online. I didn't want to turn this into some messy internet war. But if I didn't, she'd win. Fine, I said. Let's do it. That night, I made a post. I kept it short, straight to the point. I never stole from my mother. She kicked me out when I refused to hand over my paycheck. Now, she's lying to ruin my life. Believe what you want, but I know the truth. I attached screenshots, proof of her messages, proof that I've been working and paying for my own things since I was 16. Then I turned off my phone and waited. It blew up overnight. My post got shared thousands of times. People started commenting, arguing, picking sides. Some believed me, some didn't. But the important part? It put doubt in the air. And that was enough. The next morning, I got another message from Liam. Liam, Mom is pissed. Me, what did she expect? Liam, dude, she's going to the police station. Right now. My heart stopped. What? Liam, she says she's going to make them listen. I grabbed my keys and ran out the door. I got to the police station before she did. I told them everything. The false accusations, the harassment, the manipulation. I showed them the posts, the messages, the proof. And for the first time, someone listened. The officer took notes, nodding along. "This is serious," he said. "We'll look into it." Then, as I was walking out, she walked in. Her eyes locked onto mine, and she smiled. Not a normal smile. Not an oops, you caught me smile. A predator's smile. Like she wanted this. Like she'd won. I walked past her without saying a word. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of her anymore. It's been 3 days. The cops haven't called. Mom hasn't posted anything new. But I know this isn't over. Because women like her, they don't stop until they've destroyed everything. And I'm not going to let her. Not this time. It's been a week. A week of waiting. A week of looking over my shoulder, expecting the next attack. A week of wondering when, not if, she would strike again. But something was different this time. She wasn't posting. She wasn't calling. She wasn't even messaging Liam or Ava to guilt trip them into reaching out. She had gone completely silent. And that scared me more than anything. Because my mother? She never gave up. If she wasn't attacking me online, she was planning something worse. The answer came 2 days later. I was at work, wiping down tables, when my manager pulled me aside. "Alex, there's someone here to see you." I frowned. "Ooh, a detective." My stomach dropped. I stepped into the back room, my heart pounding. And sure enough, there was a man in a suit waiting for me. He looked tired, like he had seen way too much bullshit in his career. "Alex Carter?" he asked. "Yeah." He sighed. "We need to talk about your mother." I knew this was coming. I knew it. "Let me guess," I said. "She told you I stole from her?" He nodded. "She came a few days ago, filed a formal report, claimed you emptied her bank account before you left." I exhaled sharply. "That's a lie." I figured. He pulled out a notepad. "But we have to investigate anyway. Standard procedure. Do you have proof that you didn't take anything?" "Yeah." I grabbed my phone and pulled up my bank statements. Every paycheck I've ever earned went into my account. I never touched hers. He skimmed through the transactions, nodding. "Okay, that helps. But she also said you stole cash from the house." I laughed bitterly. Of course she did. No way to prove something that never happened, right? He didn't smile. "Listen, Alex," he said. "I've dealt with cases like this before. When family turns against each other, it gets ugly. Even if we don't charge you, she can keep dragging this out. Filing complaints, calling in new evidence, making your life hell." I clenched my jaw. "So what do I do?" He hesitated. Then, slowly, he said, "You fight back." I blinked. "What?" "She's accusing you of a crime. You could counter with a harassment charge. Maybe even a restraining order." A restraining order. The thought had never crossed my mind before. Because despite everything, she was still my mother. But then I remember the posts. The fake police reports. The way she smiled when she saw me at the station. She wasn't just trying to get me back. She was trying to destroy me. And I wasn't going to let her. "Okay," I said. "Let's do it." Filing for a restraining order wasn't as simple as I thought. I had to gather evidence. Document everything. Every message, every voicemail, every incident where she showed up at my job. My lawyer helped me build the case. And 2 days later, I stood in front of a judge. Mom was there too. She looked different. Not weak. Not broken. Angry. Like she couldn't believe I was actually doing this. Like I was betraying her. She tried to argue, of course. Told the judge I was lying. That I was trying to cut her out of my life for no reason. That she was just a worried mother trying to bring her son home. But the evidence spoke louder. The social media posts. The police reports. The texts. The messages from Liam and Ava, proving she was manipulating them too. The judge ruled in my favor. She wasn't allowed to contact me. She wasn't allowed near my home or my job. If she tried, she'd be arrested. It was over. Or at least, that's what I thought. That night, Ava called me. I almost didn't pick up. I was drained. Exhausted. Just done. But something told me to answer. "Ava." She was crying. "Alex, she's losing it." I sat up. "What happened?" She's screaming. Throwing things. She broke a chair. "Alex. She's blaming me and Liam for what you did." I closed my eyes. What I did. Like this was my fault. "Where's Liam?" "In his room. He won't come out." I swallowed hard. "Ava, listen to me. You don't have to stay there." "What?" "Come stay with me. Both of you. I'll figure it out." She was silent. Then, in a shaky voice, she said, "Okay." I picked them up that night. They didn't bring much. A few bags, some clothes, Liam's PlayStation. When they got in the car, Ava burst into tears. Liam didn't say anything, but as I started driving, he muttered, "I can't believe she actually made us leave." And that broke me, because even after everything, some part of them still thought she'd choose them over herself. She never would, but I would. And for the first time in a long time, I finally felt like I was doing the right thing. It's been a month. Mom hasn't tried to contact us. She legally can't. Liam and Ava are staying with me. It's tight, but we're figuring it out. They're still dealing with everything. Years of manipulation don't just disappear overnight. Neither do mine. But we're free. For the first time in our lives, we're free. And I'm never looking back.